The training arena on Station Vex 9 hummed with anticipation. Thousands of cadets from across 47 different species packed the observation decks, their excited chatter creating a symphony of alien languages. Below, on the gleaming combat floor, two figures stood separated by 50 meters of reinforced titanium. On one side towered Kreth the Merciless, 7 feet of pure muscle and rage, covered in dark crimson scales that had earned him the nickname Red Death across 12 star systems. His 4 arms flexed, each one capable of crushing a starship hull. The Warlord's reputation preceded him like a tidal wave. 300 victories in sanctioned combat, 0 defeats, 17 planetary invasions. Countless enemies turned to ash. On the other side stood Maya Chen, 5'3", 120 pounds, soaking wet, 22 years old. Human, first-year cadet. The betting pools had closed within seconds. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, gave the girl a chance. Kreth laughed, a sound like grinding boulders. This is the legendary human warrior I've heard so much about. This tiny female child? The council must be playing a joke on me. Maya adjusted her ponytail, her expression utterly calm. You done talking yet? Some of us have actual classes to attend after this. The Warlord's red eyes narrowed. You dare mock Kreth? I have killed beings twice your size before breakfast. I have crushed entire battalions. What have you done, little girl? Well, Maya said, examining her fingernails with exaggerated boredom. Last week I stubbed my toe on my bunk and only cried for like 2 minutes. So I'm pretty tough. A ripple of nervous laughter spread through the human section of the crowd. The other species remained silent, confused by what they assumed was pre-combat hysteria. Commander Vex, a crystalline being who served as the Academy's headmaster, activated the arena speakers. This is a standard challenge match under galactic combat law. Victory conditions are surrender, unconsciousness, or death. Lethal force is permitted. Medical teams are standing by. Combatants, do you understand the terms? Yes, Kreth growled. Crystal clear, Maya said cheerfully. Then, let the combat begin. Kreth moved with shocking speed for something his size. His massive legs propelled him across the arena floor like a missile. In 3 seconds, he had closed the distance. His upper right arm swung in a devastating arc, aimed at Maya's head, a blow that would have decapitated most beings. Maya wasn't there. She had dropped into a slide, passing directly between Kreth's legs. As she emerged behind him, her foot lashed out, striking the back of his knee. Not hard, just a tap. Really, Kreth stumbled. Just for a second, just enough for his face to show surprise. Oops, Maya said. Did I do that? The Warlord spun with a roar, all 4 arms wine-milling in a complex attack pattern that had slaughtered dozens of opponents. Each fist left after images in the air. The sound of displaced atmosphere cracked like thunder. Maya danced backward, her movements economical and precise. She didn't waste energy on flourishes or unnecessary motion. Duck, weave, sidestep. One of Kreth's fists passed so close to her face that it ruffled her hair, but it might as well have been a mile away. Stand still, Kreth bellowed. Sorry, Maya called back. I'm more of a moving target kind of person. It's a thing we humans do. You know, evolution, predators. We got really good at not dying. She punctuated this by dropping flat to the ground. Kreth's follow-up strike whistled over her head and slammed into the arena wall with a metallic screech that made everyone wince. The impact left a dent 3 inches deep. That wall has a 6-inch titanium carbide coating. Someone in the crowd whispered. Maya rolled to her feet and brushed imaginary dust off her uniform. Nice punch. Really committed to it. Solid follow-through. Maybe a bit too much, though? Just a thought. Kreth's breathing had become labored. Not from exhaustion. From pure, undiluted rage. You mock me? Me? I am Kreth. I am death incarnate. I am the scourge of 7 systems. Yeah, Maya said, waving one hand dismissively. You're very scary. Super intimidating. The scales really work for you. But here's the thing about humans. We're persistence hunters. We don't always win because we're the strongest or the fastest. We win because we don't quit. We keep coming. We adapt. We learn. She moved forward, not attacking, just walking, casual, like she was taking a stroll through a park. Kreth charged again, his roar shaking the arena. This time he tried to grab her, all four arms spread wide to prevent escape. Maya jumped, not away, toward him. She planted one foot on his lower left arm, used it as a springboard and vaulted over his shoulder. As she passed, her elbow struck the soft spot where his neck met his shoulder. A precise blow, controlled, calculated. Kreth's arm went numb. One of four, but it was a start. The warlord spun, faster now, desperate. He could feel something shifting, something wrong. This wasn't how battles went. Opponents cowered. They defended. They eventually broke. They didn't smile. Maya was smiling. "You know what else humans are good at?" she said, conversationally, circling him now. "Pattern recognition. You favor your upper right arm. It's your strongest. You always lead with it. Your lower left has slightly less range. Your upper left you hold back for counters. And your lower right, you barely use it. Old injury? Maybe a ligament tear that never healed quite right?" Kreth's eyes widened. "How could you possibly know that?" "Because I've been watching you since you walked in. Because I studied every single one of your public combat recordings. Because humans don't fight fair. We fight smart." She moved in again, this time targeting his lower right side. Her strikes were quick, sharp, aimed at nerve clusters and joint vulnerabilities. Nothing powerful enough to cause serious damage, everything calibrated to accumulate effect. "We learn," Maya said between strikes. "We adapt. You're stronger. You're faster. You've got four arms and natural armor. You've killed more beings than I've probably met. But you know what you don't have?" She ducked under a wild swing. "You don't have endurance." It was true. Kreth's species were ambush predators. Massive bursts of overwhelming force followed by rest periods. They weren't built for extended combat, and this fight, which should have ended in seconds, was now approaching the 3-minute mark. Kreth's breathing was ragged. Sweat, or whatever his species equivalent was, poured down his scales. His movements were becoming sluggish. Predictable. Maya, meanwhile, hadn't even broken stride. "You're slowing down," she observed. "Heart rate elevated, oxygen debt increasing. You've probably got another minute, maybe 90 seconds, before your muscles start failing. After that, it's just gravity and me." "Impossible," Kreth gasped. "You're just a human. A weak, pathetic human." Maya's smile vanished. Her eyes went cold. "You want to know something about humans?" Her voice was quiet now. "Dangerous. We're the species that looked at apex predators and said no thanks. We'll domesticate you instead. We're the species that got stabbed by plants and decided to weaponize them. We're the species that fell out of trees, lost our fur, gave up our claws and fangs, and then conquered an entire planet anyway." She moved in close now, inside his guard. "We didn't do that by being weak." Her strike hit Kreth's solar plexus. Not hard enough to kill, hard enough to empty his lungs. As he doubled over, her knee came up, catching him under the chin. His head snapped back. Kreth stumbled backward, off balance for the first time in the fight. Maya wasn't done. A sweep took his legs out from under him. 7 feet of muscle and fury hit the arena floor with a crash that echoed through the entire station. Before he could recover, Maya had his upper right arm twisted behind his back, her knee on his spine, her other hand applying pressure to a nerve cluster in his neck. "Surrender," she said calmly. Kreth thrashed. He tried to rise. His muscles, pushed beyond their limits, failed him. "Surrender," Maya repeated. "This doesn't have to end with you unconscious. Your choice." The arena was silent. Thousands of beings held their collective breath. Kreth's fist slammed against the floor once, twice, 3 times. The universal signal. "I yield," he whispered. Maya released him immediately, stepping back and offering her hand to help him up. Kreth stared at it for a long moment, then took it. She hauled him to his feet with surprising strength. "Good fight," Maya said genuinely. Kreth looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. Not as prey, not as an insect to be crushed, but as what she was, a warrior. "How?" he asked simply. Maya shrugged. "Like I said, we're persistence hunters. We're built to outlast everything. And we've spent our entire evolutionary history learning how to punch above our weight class. It's literally what we do." The arena erupted. The sound was deafening. Human cadets were on their feet, screaming themselves hoarse. Other species were chattering in shock, their betting slips forgotten. Commander Vex floated down to the arena floor, his crystalline body refracting the arena lights into 1,000 rainbow shards. "Victory to Cadet Chen," he announced formally. "By submission. Kreth the Merciless, you have 1 minute to vacate the arena." Kreth nodded slowly. He turned to leave, then paused. "Human." Maya looked up at him. "Next time," he said, "I will study you as you studied me." "Next time," Maya replied with a grin, "I'll know you're going to do that. So good luck." Kreth actually laughed, a real laugh this time, not the mocking rumble from before. "Your species," he said, shaking his massive head, "is absolutely terrifying." "Yeah," Maya agreed happily. "We really are. Welcome to humanity. Try the coffee. It'll kill you." As Kreth limped out of the arena, the full weight of what had just happened began to sink in throughout the station. A first-year human cadet had just defeated one of the most feared warriors in known space. Not through luck, not through tricks. Through pure skill, intelligence, and that uniquely human brand of stubborn refusal to lose. In the human section of the crowd, someone started chanting, "Chen! Chen!" It spread. Within seconds, even non-human cadets were joining in. Maya waved awkwardly, her cheeks flushing red. For all her confidence in combat, public attention clearly made her uncomfortable. Commander Vex approached her. "That was remarkable, Cadet Chen. However, I must ask, you could have ended that fight much sooner. Why drag it out?" Maya's expression became serious, because he needed to learn. "They all did." She gestured to the crowd. "Everyone here thinks humans are weak, fragile, easy targets. Better they learn the truth in a training arena than in actual combat where people die." "And what truth is that?" "That we're not strong in spite of our limitations," Maya said quietly. "We're strong because of them. Every challenge our species faced, we turned into an advantage. That's what makes us dangerous. We adapt, we overcome, we never stop." The aftermath of the fight rippled through Station Vex 9 like a shockwave. Within hours, footage of Maya Chen taking down Kreth the Merciless had spread across the galactic network. 20 billion views in the first day, 50 billion by the end of the week. But Maya, she went to class. Honestly, the thermodynamics exam was way scarier than fighting Kreth. She told her roommate, a 6-armed Hexian named Trill, who had nearly fainted watching the match. "You're insane," Trill chittered, her translation implant rendering her species' clicking language into standard galactic. "Completely, utterly insane. That creature has killed hundreds, thousands." "Yeah, but thermodynamics is really hard," Maya said seriously, highlighting another section in her textbook. 3 days later, everything changed. Maya was in the station's recreation dome, practicing her hand-to-hand forms, when the emergency klaxons started wailing. Red lights flooded the corridors. The station's AI, a rather dry-voiced program named Oracle, began broadcasting on all channels. "Attention all personnel. This is not a drill. Hostile forces have breached sectors 7 through 12. All combat-rated personnel report to defensive positions. All cadets evacuate to designated safe zones immediately." Maya's blood ran cold. Hostile forces? Here? Station Vex 9 was supposed to be one of the most secure facilities in the galaxy. It housed over 30,000 cadets, instructors, and support staff. She sprinted toward the nearest command center, ignoring Oracle's repeated instructions to evacuate. When she burst through the doors, she found chaos. Commander Vex was coordinating defensive teams, while holographic displays showed the unfolding disaster. "What's happening?" Maya demanded. A Korthian security officer, essentially a bear-sized reptile with too many teeth, turned to snarl at her. "Cadet, you are ordered to evacuate immediately." "Not until someone tells me what we're facing." Commander Vex's crystalline form swiveled toward her. "Pirates. A fleet of them. 47 ships. They've disabled our main defensive grid and are boarding the station. They're after the weapons research labs in the lower levels." "How many defenders do we have?" 300 security personnel, maybe another 100 instructors with combat experience, against an estimated 2,000 pirates. Vex's voice, usually so calm, carried an edge of desperation. Maya's mind raced. What about the cadets? 4th and 5th years would have combat training. "We cannot ask students to fight." "You're not asking," Maya said firmly. "I'm volunteering, and I guarantee you, others will too." We're warriors in training, Commander. This is literally what we're here for. Before Vex could respond, the doors burst open. Kreth strode in, fully armored now, carrying a plasma rifle that looked like a small cannon. Behind him came a dozen other senior cadets, various species, all armed. The human is correct, Kreth rumbled. We did not come to this academy to hide when danger arrives. We came to learn how to face it. Vex's crystalline body pulsed with conflicting colors. Finally he nodded. Very well, but you follow orders. Understood? Understood, Maya said. Then she turned to Kreth. Got a spare weapon? The warlord's face split into what might have been a smile. He tossed her a combat knife the size of her forearm. Try not to die, little human. I want a rematch someday. Deal. Within 20 minutes, Maya found herself leading a squad of 15 cadets through the station's maintenance tunnels. Their mission was simple. The pirates had seized the main armory in Sector 9. Take it back. Deny them the heavy weapons. Simple. Not easy. Thermal scans show at least 30 hostiles inside the armory, whispered Jax, a Velian, whose species had natural heat-sensing organs. Heavily armed, they've set up defensive positions. Maya studied the tunnel layout on her borrowed datapad. The armory had one main entrance and 2 emergency exits. Standard military design, which meant predictable. Humans love being unpredictable. She muttered. What was that? Asked Sarah, a Delphian cadet with blue scales and gills. I said we're not going through any of those doors. Jax, these thermal readings. Can you tell if anyone's in the maintenance level above the armory? Jax's eyes went unfocused as he concentrated. Negative. Empty. Perfect. Maya pointed to a ventilation shaft. We go up, we go through the ceiling, we drop right on top of them. That's suicide, hissed Thorn, a massive Krogar who made even Kreth look small. We'll be completely exposed during the drop. Only for about 3 seconds, Maya countered. And they won't be expecting it. Everyone expects attacks to come from the doors, from ground level. Nobody looks up. It's a human thing. We're ambush predators. We drop on prey from trees. This station doesn't have trees, Thorn pointed out. Then they really won't be expecting it. The logic was so absurd, it actually made sense. Or maybe everyone was just too scared to argue. They climbed. The maintenance shaft was tight. Claustrophobic, never designed for rapid troop movement. Maya led, her smaller size an advantage here. Behind her, the larger species struggled and cursed quietly. 20 minutes of climbing brought them to the level above the armory. Maya carefully removed a ceiling panel and peered down. 32 pirates. Various species, all armed with military-grade weapons that had definitely been stolen from someone official. They'd arranged themselves in a defensive semicircle facing the main door, exactly as expected. Smart, professional, prepared for a frontal assault, not prepared for what was about to happen. Maya hand signaled the squad. Standard Academy combat signs. Wait for my mark. 3, 2, 1. She dropped. 3 seconds of free fall. Her knife was already in her hand. She landed on a Krell pirate, driving the blade into the gap where his armor plates met. He went down with a gurgling scream. Chaos erupted. 15 cadets dropped through the ceiling like avenging angels. The pirates spun, trying to reorient, their defensive positions now completely useless. Half of them were facing the wrong direction. Maya rolled, came up with the dead pirate's rifle, and started firing. Not wild spraying, controlled bursts. Instructors had drilled trigger discipline into them for months. Each shot counted. Each shot found a target. Beside her, Thorn roared and charged. 2 pirates tried to stop him. They might as well have tried to stop a landslide. He swept them aside like toys, his massive fists crushing armor and bone. Sarah moved like water, her species' natural flexibility letting her dodge return fire with almost contemptuous ease. Her shock baton left pirates twitching on the ground. The fight lasted 90 seconds. When the smoke cleared, all 32 pirates were down, dead, unconscious, or too injured to fight. The cadet squad had taken 3 casualties, 2 wounded, 1 dead. A Porvian cadet named Kex, who had taken a plasma bolt meant for Thorn. Maya knelt beside Kex's body, her jaw tight, first combat death she'd witnessed. The reality of war, stripped of glory and heroics. Just a young person who'd never go home. We need to move, Jax said quietly. More pirates will come to investigate. Maya stood, Then we hold this position. This is the Armory. We control the weapons. We control the fight. Thorn, Sarah, set up defensive positions at all 3 entrances. Jax, you're on sensors. I want to know if anything with a heat signature comes within 50 meters. Everyone else, arm up. We're about to have company. They worked fast. Combat training kicked in, overriding fear. Within minutes, the Armory had transformed from a captured position to a fortress. The pirates came 15 minutes later, a full assault team, 50 strong. They hit the main door with breaching charges, expecting to storm a lightly defended position. Instead, they ran into a firing line of cadets with military-grade weapons and absolutely nothing to lose. The battle was brutal, close quarters, no room for fancy tactics, just raw violence and the will to survive. Pirates fell, cadets fell, the Armory filled with smoke and screaming, and the smell of ozone from energy weapons. Maya fought like something possessed. The knife, the rifle, her fists when weapons ran dry. She moved through the chaos with terrible efficiency. Every lesson from years of martial arts training, combining with pure adrenaline-fueled desperation. A pirate twice her size came at her with a vibroblade. She ducked under his swing, drove her knife into his thigh, used his own momentum to throw him into 2 of his companions. All 3 went down in a tangle. Another pirate got a shot off that burned across her shoulder. The pain was blinding. She ignored it, grabbed his rifle, head-butted him, took his weapon, and kept firing. Time became meaningless. There was only the next threat, the next target. Survive the next second and worry about the one after that when it arrives. When the firing finally stopped, Maya found herself standing in the middle of the Armory, breathing hard, covered in blood. Some hers, most not. 14 cadets remained standing. They'd held against impossible odds. Jax checked his sensors. More coming. Lots more. I count over 100 heat signatures converging on our position. Then we hold again, Maya said, her voice hoarse. We're almost out of ammunition, Sarah pointed out. We can't hold against 100. Maya looked around the Armory. Weapons, explosives, equipment. An idea formed, terrible, desperate, possibly brilliant. We don't have to hold, she said slowly. We just have to make them think twice about attacking. 5 minutes later, when the next pirate wave arrived, they found the Armory's main door open. Inviting, suspicious. Their leader, a scarred Vorthian named Krag, approached cautiously. It's a trap, obviously, agreed a second. Question is, what kind? They got their answer when they crossed the threshold. Maya had rigged every explosive in the Armory to a single detonator, not to destroy the room. That would be wasteful, but to create a very specific, very controlled explosion that would collapse the entrance tunnel while leaving the Armory itself intact. The blast was spectacular. Rock and metal rained down. When the dust cleared, 100 pirates were sealed outside, and the cadets were sealed inside with all the weapons. Now what? Thorn asked. Now we wait, Maya said, collapsing against a crate. Vex knows where we are. He'll send reinforcements. We just have to survive until they arrive. Survive in a sealed room with no food and limited oxygen, Jax pointed out. I've had worse Tuesdays. Despite everything, several cadets actually laughed. They held that Armory for 18 hours. The pirates tried cutting through the collapsed tunnel, tried breaching from above, tried gas attacks. The cadets, working together, combining the knowledge and skills of a dozen different species, countered every attempt. When Commander Vex's relief force finally broke through, they found 15 exhausted cadets surrounded by weapons, improvised defenses, and the evidence of a battle that would be studied in military academies for decades. Cadet Chen, Vex said simply, report. Maya snapped to attention, despite her wounds. Armory secured, sir. All weapons accounted for. 15 cadets operational. 8 requiring medical attention. 1 killed in action. Her voice caught slightly on that last part. Vex's crystalline form pulsed with colors Maya had never seen before. Pride, maybe. Or respect. You disobeyed a direct order to evacuate. Yes, sir. You led an unauthorized combat operation. Yes, sir. You deployed military explosives without proper authorization. Yes, sir. And you held a strategic position against overwhelming odds, potentially saving thousands of lives. by denying pirates access to heavy weapons. We did what we had to do, sir. Vex was silent for a long moment. Cadet Shen, you are hereby promoted to junior officer rank, effective immediately. The rest of your squad will receive commendations. Kex will receive the Star of Valor, posthumously. And you, personally, will be receiving a formal reprimand for those unauthorized explosives. Maya blinked. Sir, we still have rules, Junior Officer Chen. Even in war, dismissed. Get yourself to medical. As Maya limped toward the door, Kreth appeared, his armor scorched and dented. He'd been leading defensive operations in another sector. I heard what you did, he said quietly. 15 cadets. Against hundreds. You humans really are terrifying. Maya managed a tired smile. We're also really stubborn. Comes with the territory. I challenged you because I thought humans were weak. I thought you needed to be taught humility. And now, Kreth's forearms spread in a gesture of respect from his culture. Now I understand. Humans aren't strong, despite being small. You're dangerous because you refuse to accept limitations. Any limitations, you look at impossible odds and get offended by them. Pretty much, Maya agreed. We're weird like that. I regret challenging you, Kreth said softly. Maya looked up at him surprised. Because I beat you? No. The warlord's expression was serious. Because I disrespected you. I judged your species by appearance, rather than capability. I made the mistake every predator makes. I saw prey. I should have seen a fellow warrior. For that, I apologize. Maya extended her hand. After a moment, Kreth took it. Human and alien. Former enemies. Now something else entirely. Apology accepted, Maya said. Want to grab some coffee later? Fair warning, it might actually kill you. I will risk it. As they walked together toward the medical bay, station personnel stopped to stare. News of the Armory battle had already spread. The human cadet who defeated a warlord had now led a squad against impossible odds and won. But Maya barely noticed the attention. She was thinking about Kex, about the price of victory, about all the things the recruitment posters never mentioned. Hey, Kreth, she said quietly. Yes. Does it get easier? The losing people part? The warlord was silent for a long moment. No, he finally said. It never does. That's how you know you're still a person, and not just a weapon. The day it stops hurting is the day you should stop fighting. That's surprisingly profound. I have my moments. They walked on through the damaged station, past repair crews and medical teams, past memorial walls already being erected for the fallen. Station Vex 9 had survived. Barely, but it had survived. And across the galaxy, in 1,000 different languages, on 1,000,000 different worlds, people were learning a very important lesson. Humans might look fragile, might seem weak, might appear to be easy targets, but appearance, as Kreth the Merciless learned, can be devastatingly deceiving. Challenge a human at your own risk, because they don't fight to win, they fight to survive. And there's a very big difference between those two things. One accepts defeat as a possibility, the other doesn't.